Sean Zattel here with the legendary Stephen A. Smith covering the NBA Cup here in Vegas, but Stephen A. also comes to all the big boxing matches here in Vegas as well, and I know you like David Benavidez. Did you catch that shove that took place with Benavidez?
No, I haven't seen any of the press conferences or anything like that, but I think him against Morrell is going to be a big fight. I'm a huge David Benavidez fan. I love Canelo as well, but I don't like the fact that Canelo has taken so long to give him a match. And I just applaud David Benavidez because he ducks no one. What's up? I just applaud the fact that he ducks no one, and he's ready to fight at all times. He is the Mexican monster. Sometimes I'm wondering, is somebody going to hurt him because he's right there in front of them. He doesn't move, but he clearly shows he can take a punch and he can damn sure give one with either hand. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got boxing ability, he's got heart.
Stephen A. Smith breaks down how David Benavidez could overwhelm Gilberto Ramirez with non-stop pressure and high-volume punching.
I don't know if there's a bigger fan of David Benavidez than me. I really I got a lot of love for his skills, and I want to see him on the big stage. So I don't root against anybody per se, especially in a sport as violent as boxing, but I'm a huge fan of his, and I wish him the best.
Meanwhile, David Benavidez shares he will stick to his natural style against Gilberto Ramirez, confident he can find openings and do damage. He plans to apply pressure, use his job, and mix in counters to push for a stoppage.
I've come too far to try to change up my style, and I am who I am, you know what I mean? This is the way I love to fight. I'm gonna go in there, and I see a lot of opportunities me hurting Zurdo. So now and I've hurt him a lot before in sparring sessions, so I know for a fact I can hurt him, but it's just now that when I hurt him, I open him up, I gotta make sure I stay on him to get the stoppage. But I definitely feel like I can get a stoppage. I just gotta work behind the jab, use my movement, do some counter shots, and I see a lot of opportunities for me hurting Zurdo and then ultimately taking him out.
On the other hand, Zurdo Ramirez feels fully prepared with no concerns, confident and focused on proving he belongs among boxing's elite.
No, I've been preparing really well, but no concern. And so I'm just excited for May 2nd because I'm going to prove myself that I'm the best.
Zurdo sees himself as an accomplished champion and stays driven by legacy, taking big fights to prove he is the best.
No. I think I'm a champion already, and I'm two-time world champion, and then I'm a unified champion, and for me it's I don't care what can put me, but I'm more careful for my legacy, for myself, because I get into this sport because I want to prove myself that I'm the best and I can do it. That's why I'm taking all this fight.
Ramirez made it clear that everything outside the ring means nothing once the fight begins, focusing only on what's at stake between both fighters. He emphasized that each man wants what the other holds, turning it into a pure battle of taking and proving inside the ring.
Well, as soon as the belt ring, everything, nothing matters, just the win. Because he want to take something that I have, I want to take something that he had, and that's why that's all matter.
Meanwhile, Joel Diaz described Gilberto Ramirez as a tough, physically strong fighter, but gave the edge to David Benavidez for his superior speed and movement. He expected the fight to go the distance, with Benavidez winning by decision through higher volume and activity.
Stylistically, well, Zurdo Ramirez is a tough fighter. He's strong. He's physically strong, big fighter. But Benavidez has speed in his hands, more movement. I mean, I see a fight going the distance by decision. Benavidez winning by decision due to volume and speed.
Joel Diaz believed David Benavidez would take control early with speed and high activity, making it hard for Gilberto Ramirez to settle. Diaz noted Ramirez usually gets stronger in the later rounds, while Benavidez can slightly slow as the fight progresses. Even so, Diaz still favored Benavidez to outwork Ramirez over time with his pace and volume.
The way I see the fight is going to be hard for people. I mean, for Zurdo Ramirez in the first 5 rounds because of the speed, you know. And from there on, after the 6th, if Zurdo is still in the fight, he gets stronger because Zurdo gets stronger in the later rounds. And I noticed that Benavidez gets a little tired, and now the factor is weight now. Let's see what it does because Zurdo Ramirez comes into the fight heavy, and hopefully he's not a big factor in the later rounds for Benavidez. But other than that, I see Benavidez, outboxing Zurdo and beating him due to his speed and volume.
However, John Molina Jr. leans toward David Benavidez, viewing him as the likely winner despite acknowledging both fighters' quality. He gave Benavidez the edge, believing his overall approach makes him the favorite in the matchup.
Again, I think I'm more partial toward Benavidez. I think he is probably I don't want to say the A side because they're both great fighters, but I think he's going to be the one to win. I think it's favorite for him to win.
John Molina Jr. also pointed out that sparring and real fights are completely different, especially under the bright lights and big stage. He noted that both fighters have grown significantly since then, adding that while sparring reveals traits, everything changes on fight night, making it a compelling matchup.
No, because sparring is sparring and fighting is fighting under the big lights and the big stage. And they've grown since that time significantly. You can see guys' characteristics, but everything changes. So I think it's still going to be a good fight for sure.
Furthermore, John Molina Jr. compared styles like vehicles, describing David Benavidez as a high-speed sports car built on relentless combinations and pressure. He leans toward Benavidez, believing that volume and intensity could overwhelm his opponent.
He's just it depends on the weather. If it's raining, he's your more kind of guy that's going to go off-roading. If you're comparing to sports cars, you have Benavidez more of a sports car. It'll be fast, a lot of combinations. It's going to be an onslaught of punches that's going to come towards him. So let's see what happens. Again, I'm riding with Benavidez on that one.
Oscar De La Hoya called the Mexican versus Mexican-American matchup huge for boxing, saying it guarantees fireworks and higher pressure for both fighters. He stressed that fan expectations will push them to train harder and deliver a warlike performance on fight night.
It's huge for boxing in general. When you pit a Mexican fighter and a Mexican-American fighter in that same ring, you're gonna get fireworks. In Cinco de Mayo weekend, there's an added pressure on the fighters to perform even better than what they're used to performing. They're gonna train harder. They know what's at stake. The fighters know they have to impress the fight fans because the fight fans expect a war on Cinco de Mayo. That's how important this date is. So the fact that we can make this fight together with PBC, that we can make this fight together with Prime, with Golden Boy, I'm excited for that, but obviously more excited for the fight. These guys are gonna bring it on Saturday night, May 2nd. And the fact that the fans are expecting it. The pressure is on for the fighters to perform. That's what I love.
However, Oscar compared the styles by highlighting David Benavidez as a high-volume puncher who throws in bunches without always relying on power, while noting concerns about his durability. On the other side, he described Gilberto Ramirez as more patient and calculated, with every shot carrying serious intent. Despite the contrast, De La Hoya leaned toward Benavidez, believing one explosive exchange could be enough to turn the fight in his favor.
Styles make fights, obviously, and I've watched many Benavidez fights. I've watched many Zurdo fights. Obviously, I promote him, but Benavidez throws a lot of punches. Doesn't throw everything with power, and he doesn't really have a good chin. Okay, I mean, Zurdo, on the other hand, takes his time. He's very calculated, but every punch he throws, it's hard. It's got bad intention. All it takes in one exchange, when Benavidez is throwing punches and bunches, all it takes is one. That's all it takes, and it can change the fight. So I'm gonna go with Benavidez by a haymaker.
On the other hand, Showbiz the Adult viewed David Benavidez as a fighter who already carries the traits of an all-time great, both in mindset and physical ability, but still needs that defining performance to confirm it. He pointed to Benavidez's strong track record and saw this stage as the moment for him to elevate everything and prove his greatness under real pressure.
I think he is an all-time great already in here and in here. So now he just got to show it. I think he's been building the right building blocks. I think he already has one of the better resumes in boxing. And I think this is the perfect time and perfect opportunity to show people what greatness looks like and how greatness is being manufactured and how greatness is being shaped.
The analyst strongly backed David Benavidez to dominate Gilberto Ramirez, highlighting his hand speed, craft, and relentless combination punching from body to head, while giving full respect to Ramirez as a proven multi-division champion with size and strength. He believed Benavidez's non-stop activity and sharp offense would be overwhelming, predicting a clear and commanding win.
Not at all. He will beat Ramirez. Hands are too fast. too tricky, too crafty. He's too busy. Downstairs, upstairs, downstairs, upstairs. David Benavidez is just too good of a fighter.
Combinations. Like, what's wrong with him?
And this is not to discredit Ramirez, who's a real champion. He's a guy that has been a champion in different divisions. He's a big guy. He won't beat Benavidez. David Benavidez will win that fight big. Trust me, I'm saying it now. He'll win that fight massive.
Meanwhile, Jai Opetaia viewed the fight as evenly matched in terms of output, noting that both David Benavidez and Gilberto Ramirez bring consistent activity. He leans toward Benavidez due to his younger energy and drive, suggesting Ramirez may be approaching it from a different place. Opetaia highlighted that Benavidez still appears focused on legacy and proving more, which could ultimately separate them.
Well, I think it's going to be a good fight. They both got high work rates. I believe Benavidez is younger and hungrier, you know what I mean? Zurdo's chasing that payday, that's why, I believe Benavidez is still chasing a bit more legacy. You know, he's got unfinished business. So.
Sebastian Fundora praised David Benavidez for his strong recent run, highlighting his mix of size, speed, and high-volume punching. He noted that Benavidez stands out from typical heavy punchers because he throws constant combinations, with each shot carrying real impact and pressure.
I favor Benavidez. You know, he's been on a good run, beating everybody. His last fight looked spectacular, and a heavier guy, stronger guy. So on paper, but you know, we saw the difference in that. So I think they sparred a couple times ago. I think you mentioned to me before, and that it was fairly easy to him as well. So you know, I favor Benavidez in this fight. Benavidez definitely has the punch to do it and the speed. He's bringing a lot of speed. Again, talking about the last fight, you saw the speed difference in these guys, because these guys kind of like heavyweights. Looking for one punch, all it takes is one punch. Just when is that punch gonna come? Benavidez is a lot different than these guys because he has speed. He'll throw like 20 punches at you and he'll hit you with all of them and they're all gonna hurt you.
On the other hand, Jose Benavidez believed Gilberto Ramirez would be preparing harder than ever, fully aware of what David Benavidez brings into the ring. He noted that both fighters have evolved since their earlier days, but still felt Benavidez simply outclasses the division with speed, fight IQ, and overall sharpness. In his view, no one at the weight or even above it comes close to matching his brother's level.
I'm sure Zurdo trained, you know, his probably his hardest he's ever trained in his life because he knows what David's gonna come with. And I mean, I could tell you what happened, but I mean, what's the point of that? You know, at the end, like, this is the way I see it. They were younger, so you learn. But I just feel like my brother outclasses everybody in this weight class and the higher weight class. He's just too fast. You know, his IQ is crazy. I don't see anybody beating my brother or even being close.
Fernando Vargas expressed that he's comfortable with either outcome on the fight weekend, recognizing both sides as high-level competitors. He credited Gilberto Ramirez as a solid world champion, but ultimately felt Benavidez would simply be too complete and too strong to be beaten.
The Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez Cinco de Mayo weekend.
You know, I'm cool with both. Zurdo's a great world champion. I just feel Benavidez is, he's too good.
Roy Jones Jr. called the clash between David Benavidez and Gilberto Ramirez a high-quality, fan-friendly matchup worth watching. He slightly favored Benavidez to come out on top, while still acknowledging Ramirez as a legitimate, dangerous opponent, making it a competitive and important fight on paper.
Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez.
That's a good fight. I can't wait to see that. I think Benavidez definitely beats Zurdo.
Sean Zittel pointed out that Benavidez would be entering a new kind of challenge against a naturally bigger opponent. He warned that Ramirez could not afford to come in anything less than fully prepared, especially after looking out of shape in a previous outing, stressing that only peak condition would give him a chance to compete. Even so, Zittel still felt Benavidez's speed and overall skill set sit on a completely different level, making it difficult for Ramirez to sustain over the full fight.
It's interesting. David, for the first time, is fighting someone bigger than he is, and I don't think Ramirez, he better not show up like he did for the Dorticos fight, his last fight, where he's very fleshy, soft around the midsection. He's got to come correct, and if he does, he'll provide some resistance, but, Benavidez is one of the best fighters in the world, and I just think his speed will be too much.
Robert Garcia spoke highly of Gilberto Ramirez, describing him as a disciplined and respectful fighter with strong fundamentals and legitimate power. He recognized Ramirez's experience at the top level, but also hinted that in certain fights his resilience and urgency have been tested, especially in moments where he absorbed significant punishment.
Hey, Benavidez or Zurdo?
Zurdo's a great person. I swear to God, I love Zurdo. He's a great dude. He's a very respectful person. He's a fucking straight up Mexican. He parties hard when he parties too.
He does.
He don't give a fuck. Man, he just killed. Benavidez is just a monster, man. Benavidez, look, skills-wise, I think Zurdo's a great skilled fighter. But when it comes to the fucking hunger they added to the fucking Benavidez don't give a fuck, man. Benavidez got cracked hard by the Cuban.
Callum Smith viewed the matchup as competitive, but leaned toward David Benavidez, pointing to his quicker hands and overall hand speed as the deciding factor over Gilberto Ramirez. He downplayed the size narrative, noting that neither fighter is a true cruiserweight, despite moving up from 168 pounds, so the physical gap wouldn't be decisive. Smith also mentioned that Benavidez has been sparring effectively at the higher weight and looks settled, suggesting he's adjusted well and carries strong confidence heading into the fight.
Definitely David moving up.
It's a good fight, really good fight. I just think speed with Benavidez probably maybe be the difference. I think he's got really fast hands. I don't think Ramirez is the fastest.
Yeah.
I think the speed, and I don't think Ramirez, neither of them are genuine massive cruiserweight, so I don't think the size will be too much of a factor. Although we're seeing head to head and Ramirez looks massive to be fair, considering he both come from 168. But yeah, I just think the speed of Benavidez will probably be. Plus they've sparred a lot as well, so I don't think if Benavidez fancied it too much, he doesn't have to go up to cruiserweight. So the fact that he's choosing to do it means he probably likes how the spars went.
Abner Mares highlighted the matchup between David Benavidez and Gilberto Ramirez as highly competitive, warning fans not to underestimate David Benavidez. He noted that Benavidez is a strong, durable fighter capable of taking clean shots, making the fight far more interesting and difficult than many expect.
Flawless. This is so good. Zurdo Ramirez against David Benavidez. People cannot fall asleep on Benavidez. Benavidez is a good fighter. Benavidez is a big guy. Benavidez can take good punches well. So I think that fight's going to be really interesting. It's not going to be as easy as people think.
That's everything shaping this fight, from expert opinions to stylistic clashes and what's really at stake. Now it all comes down to who delivers when it matters most under the lights. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more boxing breakdowns.